What is up everyone, and welcome to some more F1 23 My Team Career Mode. We are here for the final round of Season 4 of our Jaguar Racing career, and we are in with an excellent shot of winning the title today here at Abu Dhabi. You're about to see, I'm going to show you the full standings, but myself and Lando Norris are separated by just 1 point after the Portuguese Grand Prix last time out, where I picked up P3 and Lando Norris picked up a victory. It takes us to, I believe we're on 6 victories this season and Lando Norris is on 5. So in the weird event where he wins today and somehow I score the same amount of points as him, which is impossible, but if that did happen, then I don't know how that would work on countback, because we'd be even on victories. I guess it would be whoever had more second places, which I believe is Lando Norris. We've only had 1 second place all season, as you can see on the results table here, whereas Norris, I believe, has had 3. So yeah, that will determine that one. But yeah, nonetheless, we've had a very strong season, as has Lando Norris, and I can't wait to see how this one wraps up and we find out who is the world champion at the end of this one. It has been an absolutely amazing season, very tiring. You know, just to give you a bit of insight into what's been going on behind the scenes, for the last 3 weeks I've been doing a sort of a training course, and I've been trying to balance doing these videos daily whilst also doing that course. So I've been waking up at about 6 o'clock every morning to record these before I start doing my my training, and yeah, it's been pretty intense, I can't lie, but we finally got to the end of this, and I can't wait to hopefully wrap up this championship as the world champion. This will be our first World Championship victory in F1 23. If we did, obviously we won 4 of them in F1 22 between seasons 4 and 7 in that one. And well, that seems like a good omen, to be perfectly honest with you, because our first championship in F1 23, or F1 22 rather, was in Season 4. So I'm hoping that Season 4 again will be the magic number for us getting our first championship victory. It's about the time that we can get a race-winning car over the course of a whole season, and I just have to hope that I don't regret those few races where we dropped points early on in the season. We had a couple of races where I just didn't seem like I was able to get points no matter how hard I tried. I really did push, and it just didn't work out for us. There was also a couple races where, of course, we had DNFs, although one of them was in that Belgium race, which was already going pretty horribly for me before I had that DNF. The only race where I asked myself, could I have maybe picked up some more points, would have been that Australian Grand Prix, where I had that DNF. I don't remember where I was running in that one. I think I was about 3rd or 4th. And then obviously the car broke down. So let's hope that doesn't come back to haunt us. Now in practice we weren't very fast at all. We weren't in the top 14, but we also didn't do a run on soft compound tyres. Our best run was on mediums. It's still, looking at the face of this, seems like we should have been among these guys, but we weren't. So there's nothing we can really do about that apart from just kind of hope for the best, and hope that we can kind of get a bit more pace in time for qualifying, and that we can sort of fight towards the front. You know, even if we don't get pole position, it might not be the end of the world, as long as Lando Norris doesn't out-qualify us. And, you know, even if he out-qualifies us by 1 or 2 positions, we know I'm pretty solid at starts on this game, so hopefully I'll be able to just sort of go for the move off the line and get into P1 no matter what happens at the beginning here. But we've got a lot of things to do before we even think about the race here in qualifying. Hopefully 3 sessions to get through, and this is our first flying lap that we did on a fresh set of soft compound tyres, and it is going to be a 1:20.4. Not bad, fastest lap of the session at the time of being set, but I'm sure that some people will probably go faster than that over the course of this Q1. By no means a perfect lap, and well, you can see that I was in P4 towards the end of the session before I improved in the final sector a little bit to a 1:20.2, and that was good enough to see us through to Q2 in P3. So not too bad, but hopefully we can continue performing at minimum at that level, if not even better. It was Albon and Norris directly ahead of us. A little bit worrying perhaps seeing Albon doing a 1:19.5 there. I don't think I'd be able to beat that. But in any case, the eliminations here: Hulkenberg, Joe, Fittipaldi, Lawson, Stroll, and De Vries. Meanwhile, Magnussen in 15th. Not really very good from Kevin Magnussen. I kind of need him to have a good performance this weekend, because while we are currently in P3 in the Constructors, which is where we need to be for our sponsorship obligation, we we could definitely still lose it to Red Bull. So if Red Bull are going to have a strong weekend here, we need to have a strong weekend as well. And well, like I said, that starts in qualifying. It's going to be a 121 flat on a used set of soft compound tyres, and I'm almost 100% certain that time is not going to be good enough to see us through into the following session, into Q3. And indeed I was right, because we were in 12th towards the end of the session. However, we are going to be improving quite significantly, and I think we should be okay. By the time we get to the line, we're going to improve by around a second or so. Perhaps we could even be into the 119s here. I think it's going to be pretty close, depends on how this final corner goes. And unfortunately for me, I messed it up. We were still into the 120s, the low 120s. I think it was 120 flat. And that was good enough for P2, which was kind of surprising. I thought we would need to be at least into the 119s to get P2. But no, we actually did pretty well there. Only a couple tenths off Lando Norris, so hopefully we can find a bit more improvement into Q3. But we did make it through, crucially. Magnussen making it through in P6 as well. Very solid performance from him. Hopefully he'll be able to pick up some points tomorrow after starting in the top 10. And we say goodbye to Ocon, Perez, Hauger, Albon, Sargent and Tsunoda. Seeing Perez and Albon out actually makes me quite happy. Perez because it means that there's a reduced chance that Red Bull are going to outscore us in the race tomorrow, and Albon because it means that hopefully, he's actually usually pretty good at qualifying and consistently has been sort of qualifying near to or even sometimes ahead of Lando Norris. So he could have made life very difficult for us playing sort of a wingman role. If you think back to Sergio Perez 2021 and the role that he played in defending from Lewis Hamilton. I know ultimately it wouldn't have made much of a difference, and it was the safety car that ultimately changed the outcome of that race. But yeah, nonetheless, I don't want to have it where Albon holding me up does potentially change the outcome of the race. In any case, we did a run on a used set of soft compound tyres, and we did another 121 flat, which put us in P10 by the time everyone else had done their best runs. But we are improving by a very significant margin. It's going to be about 1.3 seconds worth of improvement as we cross the line. It's a 1:19.6.
Okay, good job, mate. Really, really well done. That was a fantastic drive. Bring it home.
And we get pole position for it, which I'm very, very happy with.
With qualifying finished, it's time to remind ourselves of our top three: Robinson, Norris and Charles Leclerc. Goodbye for now then, but we are really just getting started. Make sure you join us again for Lights Out tomorrow.
I will be very, very impressed if I show this level of pace consistently across the entire race tomorrow. 2.5 tenths ahead of Lando Norris. Yes, it's very, very good, but something tells me this was a bit of a lightning in a bottle type moment for me. And I don't think that we're going to showcase that level of pace in the race tomorrow. I think it's going to be a very hard-fought race between myself and Lando Norris, hopefully. And well, we will see whether we can come home a champion. As they say, the job is not done. We have a lot yet to do. We have, I believe, it's 29 laps around the Yas Marina circuit, so lots of things could happen. Even if we do have strong pace, we could still get unlucky. It's happened before, and well, we will have to see what we can do and whether we can wrap up the World Championship as we prepare to get into the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. I've gone a little bit early with my timings, and now it is time for us to get into the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix.
Welcome to the Yas Marina circuit for the finale of another thrilling Formula One season. It's been a breathtaking year, and we end it at a track that has been the scene of many glories and heartbreaks over its history. It's time to end the season in style. It's time for the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. The Yas Marina circuit is made up of 3.4 miles of track, featuring 21 corners with 2 very long straights. DRS zones going into the heavy braking zones of both turn 8 and turn 11 offer plenty of potential for overtaking. The circuit comes with its fair share of tricky corners as well, in particular turns 15, 16 and 17, which will certainly test a driver's braking management. It's time to take a look at our starting grid for today's race. Robinson lines up on pole position, and Lando Norris lines up alongside. Considering the rest of the grid, we have Leclerc, Oscar Piastri, Doohan, Verstappen, Gasly, Magnussen, Russell, Ocon, Perez, Hauger, Albon, Sainz, Sargent, Tsunoda, Hulkenberg, Joe, Fittipaldi, Liam Lawson, Stroll, and Nick de Vries rounds off the grid. It's almost time for those 5 red lights to go out then. Let's see who can prevail today. Anthony Davidson is alongside me as usual for the race today. And we welcome Anthony Davidson to the commentary box. Ant, we're looking at the champion. They are on some run. What a season for them.
It really is well deserved. I wouldn't say it's been a faultless title challenge, but certainly one that has been consistent and well managed. Here's hoping they let off a bit of steam today and give us an exciting race.
Right, this championship is still alive and there's still a chance we can win it. So get out there and bring the title home. Come on!
Okay, well, they did say in the intro cutscene we're looking at the champion. And I guess if you look at the front row of the grid, that is true. It can only be me or Lando Norris. It can't be anybody else. Piastri is about 80 points down on the two of us at this point. So one of myself and Lando Norris will be the world champion, and in doing so, if I win the championship, I will be the first non-Mercedes driver to win the world championship since I started this career mode. We had 2 from George Russell and then 1 from Valtteri Bottas, who promptly retired immediately after winning the world championship. Will it be me or Lando Norris adding our names to the history books? It will be a first world championship for one of us, but who will it be? I am going to do everything I can to try and fight as hard as I possibly can to win this one, but we'll see what we can do as the lights come on and the lights go out, and we've gotten away well once again. We always do, every single time, and that is going to be the lead of the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, held for us through the first few corners. But there is a lot left to do as we come through the tricky right-hander of turn 2, I believe. And that's turn 3, isn't it, actually? And as we come on the run down to turn 4, Lando Norris is going to go for a move up the inside, and he's caught me completely unawares. Lando Norris is through into the lead of the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, and now I'm going to have a big task on my hands trying to get back ahead of him. No DRS for 2 laps, of course, so I'm going to have to try and do this authentically if I want to get ahead of him. And meanwhile, Charles Leclerc is closing me down this whole time. I have to try and push him to the inside of the corner, and then we're going to go up the inside at the exit of the chicane, and that has held me up quite significantly. Lando Norris has pulled away 8/10 in front of us now, and so we're going to have to burn quite a lot of battery to try and close him down as we get on the run to the hairpin. And my goodness, this was not what I wanted to happen off the start. I thought things were going so well through the first few corners, but then Lando Norris just came out of absolutely nowhere. I think he must have been burning a lot of battery, just caught me sleeping, quite frankly, and that has really hindered my chances of winning this world championship. All we have to do to win is beat Lando Norris, but vice versa, all he has to do to win is beat me. You know, it doesn't make a difference. We are separated by 1 point in the championship, and so there are very few things that could happen to mean that one of us will win if we lose to the other. I think Lando Norris, like I said, he can win the world championship if we finish 9th and 10th, and he finishes 10th with the fastest lap. And that's about the only permutation in which I beat him and he still wins the world championship. But anyway, enough focus on that. We have maybe just about managed to stay in Lando Norris's DRS range here as we get onto lap 3 now. I'm not quite sure whether that rings true or not. You can see now, yes, we have just stayed within range of him, even though we were over 1 second behind him by the time we actually got to the activation point. But all that matters is that you're 1 second behind through the detection point, and that is what happened on this occasion, which means we're going to get the DRS on him. The fight is not over yet. Leclerc is already over a second behind us as well, so it's going to be a straight fight here between myself and Lando Norris, and I don't know who is going to win out of the two of us. You know, I am trying desperately to stay with him. I am pushing so hard, but I don't want to wear out these tyres. So I'm going to have to hope that I make this move sooner rather than later. We make our way onto lap 5 now, and Charles Leclerc is starting to close me down, my engineer informs me. And once again, I'm just really struggling to get a good run through the first few corners, and as a result, that means that Lando Norris is going to break out of that 1 second range, and he is going to have the uncontested lead of the Grand Prix, at least for a little bit. I'm not going to have the DRS. I'm going to have bigger things to worry about. I'm going to have to worry about Charles Leclerc coming behind me now. He has got into our DRS range, and all of a sudden this championship is looking a lot more precarious than it was looking before. I am a little bit scared now that this might be falling away from us a little bit. Obviously, for those of you who haven't been watching this channel for a long time, you might not know the way in which I won my first World Championship. I was trailing Charles Leclerc by a few points coming into the race, and Max Verstappen crashed into Charles Leclerc through the first corner, broke Charles Leclerc's front wing, and it basically allowed me to just drive off into the sunset. That is not happening here today in my first championship battle in F1 23, as we've now been overtaken by Charles Leclerc as well on the run into the chicane. And then, for good measure, he also holds us up quite significantly. He goes so slowly through there. It's held me up so much that it's backed me into Jack Doohan, the driver who I'm hoping to make my future teammate. He has overtaken us for the final spot on the podium. I try and send it round the outside of him at the hairpin, but he just has enough grip to be able to withstand the attack. And we've been kicked off the podium, so things are going from bad to worse here at the Yas Marina circuit right now. At this rate, we're not even going to get a podium, never mind the win that we need to beat Lando Norris in the World Championship. And, well, things are just going to get harder and harder now as we make our way onto lap number 8. I think we're out of the DRS range of Jack Doohan in front, or if we're not, it's very, very close. And, yeah, no DRS for us, but you can see that Max Verstappen in the Aston Martin behind us does have the DRS, and he, no doubt, is going to go for a move to the outside of the chicane. But it doesn't matter, because by the time we get here, he's so far ahead that I just have nothing to say in response to him. And my goodness, at this rate, I'm not even going to score any points, never mind beat Lando Norris in the championship. This is getting completely and utterly ridiculous. I really thought I would have more pace than this. I know we're on 100 difficulty, but seriously, it's just not happening for me right now. I think I might be overheating the tyres a little bit. You may not be surprised to learn, as is very often the case around here. I'm sure I will show you the tyre temps at some point, but yeah, I was just really struggling through the corners compared to these guys. And then for good measure, they seem to be faster in the straights as well. I know they have the DRS, but even when I had the DRS, it just didn't seem like I was closing anyone down that much. Only maybe by a tenth or two over the course of the DRS straight, as you'll see here with George Russell now, who's also overtaken me on lap 10. I only made up a couple of tenths on him as we made our way through the DRS zone, and that was with DRS and ERS. So yeah, clearly something just fundamentally not working for us, and so we're going to have to try something a bit different here. And we've come into the pit lane a couple laps before our pit lap was supposed to be, and hopefully this will allow us to undercut a number of the cars who've overtaken us over the last few laps, and hopefully allow us to contend with Lando Norris. I think we're going to need a bit of luck here now. Lando Norris was about somewhere about 7 or 8 seconds ahead of us before the pit stop phase, and that means that, yeah, I don't think even with this undercut attempt we're going to be able to undercut Lando Norris. So we're going to need some luck. We're going to need you know, a safety car or a red flag or something like that, or maybe just Lando Norris to have some kind of incident, whether it be a mechanical failure, a spin, something like that. We are not going to win this championship without a little bit of luck now. So yeah, I'm gonna have to cross my fingers and just hope that that something can happen that will allow myself to win this championship and Lando Norris to fall out of it. I'm gonna need an Abu Dhabi 2021 type scenario here, I think, quite frankly, because where I'm at the moment, I am not gonna have a hope in hell. I just don't have the pace compared to Lando Norris. And we have managed to pull off a bit of an undercut here, but we're still behind Max Verstappen. I believe that he is going to be in net P2 here, if I'm not mistaken, because there's a few cars who are still yet to pit. I think Lando Norris is not one of them, from what I understand, so he is leading the race, and let's see what the gap is going to be. As we've undercut Doohan there, we undercut Russell and Leclerc as well, and Lando Norris is 4.5 seconds up the road. Meanwhile, Max Verstappen is pulling away from us a little bit. We are going to get the DRS on him through the next DRS zone, but I don't think it's going to be even close to enough for us to make any kind of attempts to get past Max Verstappen. And indeed, by the time we make it to the next lap, you can see that he has broken out of that DRS range, and we are coming under pressure from George Russell in the Red Bull, once again at risk of being kicked off the podium. But this time I was a bit crafty about it. I let him be slightly ahead going into the corner, and that has allowed me to get the DRS, which will allow me hopefully to put up a bit of a fight. But George Russell somehow, even without the DRS, was able to stay with me through that DRS zone. I don't really understand how. We are going to get the DRS through this next DRS zone, and we're going to have the slipstream on him as well. We burn a bit of battery. This time it's a little bit easier for us, but yeah, I just don't seem to have the pace in a straight line to stay with these guys, no matter how hard I try. Max Verstappen, I was very close to getting back into his DRS range, but unfortunately it didn't happen for us. And once again now coming under pressure from George Russell, a bit of a miscalculation from me there, because this time he's going to have the DRS and he's already ahead of us. We do have the slipstream on him, and I guess the slipstream here is super powerful, because even in my car, which seemed to be slower in a straight line, I was managing to just about stay with him. But now we're coming under pressure from Leclerc and Perez at the same time, and somehow I've defended them through the middle there. But this is just getting so chaotic for us. I am really feeling like, you know, something quite bad could happen to me here if I keep getting involved in these really close battles with people. You know, that was 3 wide between myself and Leclerc and Perez, and Perez has fallen off a little bit now. He's actually had to box. I think he must have got some damage from something. And now I'm coming under pressure from Jack Doohan as well. Let me tell you, mate, this is not the way to audition for my Formula 1 team. If you're gonna compete with me in a race where I'm still trying to fight to win the World Championship, and this is the way that you're doing it, then we actually make a bit of contact with him there. We've made contact with him on 2 separate occasions this lap. Yeah, it's just getting a little bit crazy between myself and Jack Doohan now, as yeah, we have to take evasive maneuvers there to avoid getting involved in a crash. A bit more contact between the two of us there as we go 3 wide into the hairpin, and somehow we've avoided getting any damage from that. But my goodness, Jack Doohan is not giving up. He really wants to show me what he's made of, but what he doesn't understand is that, yeah, like I said, this is not the way to audition for my team. When I'm involved in a championship battle and I'm still trying to win it, he should not be holding me up. But, you know, I guess showing that he clearly does have the pace to race with me, as we're now coming under pressure from Charles Leclerc once again into lap 23. We've switched the replay camera here. Charles Leclerc has got ahead, but hopefully we'll be able to use the DRS to get back ahead of him here. I'm sure Jack Doohan will probably have something to say as well. And this is turning into a massive scrap between myself, Leclerc and Doohan. It's a 3-way fight between the 3 of us for this P4, as meanwhile George Russell, Max Verstappen and Lando Norris, crucially, are all disappearing up the road. I am really struggling now to keep these 2 cars behind. I'm kind of backing them into Gasly and Piastri behind as well. No retirements from this race so far, crucially, and that has meant that no safety cars have come out. There is still time for one, but as the laps tick down, I think it's more and more unlikely. I think I'm going to need a mechanical failure for Norris or something to happen. We probably won't get a red flag this late in the race, I would say. So yeah, we're going to need something really drastic to happen, and very soon, if we are going to have any hope of winning this World Championship. Now, you know, we're not catching Lando Norris on pace. There are 5 laps to go, and we're probably about, I don't know, 15 seconds down on him, something like that. So yeah, just not happening for us on this occasion. We don't have the pace to fight him directly, and Verstappen and Russell, meanwhile, are getting further and further away. We did manage to defend from Leclerc and Doohan on that previous lap, but once again, I think we're going to be the victim of some pressure, especially from Jack Doohan, who is going to go for the move up the inside, and by the time we get to the corner, he's going to be a full car length ahead. Are we going to lose another position? We make more contact with Jack Doohan. Why are they so bad at going through the chicane? I don't understand. We're going to get the DRS on this next DRS straight, so maybe there's a chance for us to get back past him. But look how far behind him we are. We're going to dummy him to the inside, and then we're going to go around the outside here, and that is going to be enough for us to make our way through the corner. Now we're looking at Logan Sargent going through the hairpin, and he's had a spin, and the absolute slap in the face that this is that they even sent me a radio message saying there's been an incident on track, but officials aren't looking to push for a safety car, which basically means there would have been a safety car if not for the fact that Lando Norris was already on lap 27, which means that they wouldn't have had time to bring out a safety car and get it in and give us 2 laps of running at the end. So an incident that would have brought out a safety car, or if it had happened even earlier in the race, probably a red flag looking at how that spin happened for Logan Sargent. You know, the fact that it happened basically the moment that it was no longer possible for a safety car to come out just felt like the ultimate slap in the face, I can't lie. But yeah, unless something crazy happens to Lando Norris here now on lap 29, unless he has some kind of incident which costs him 20 seconds, or, you know, he has a mechanical failure in the last few corners of Sector 3, I think it's very, very unlikely that he's going to not win this World Championship now. And we did everything we could, but ultimately here at Abu Dhabi, we just did not have the pace to race with him. We didn't even have the pace to beat Verstappen and Russell. The amazing fight I was hoping for didn't quite happen. Lando Norris has crossed the line now. He will be the world champion, and there's nothing we can do about it. Lando Norris will pick up his first world championship in Formula 1 with Mercedes. Mercedes continue their Drivers' Championship streak of 4 Drivers' Championships in a row, 2 with Russell, 1 with Bottas, 1 with Norris, and we are going to cross the line to take P4.
Oh mate, heartbreaking stuff. That was such a good effort. Look, we might have just about missed out on the championship, but it's been a brilliant season. You've done a fantastic job. I have loved the whole thing from start to finish, and next year we've got the chance to go one better.
And with that, another year of Formula 1 draws to a close and a new World Drivers' Champion is declared. Another entry added to that prestigious list of the sport's most incredible drivers. Victory today then, but bittersweet emotions, I'm sure, as the championship slips through their fingers. Even so, what a fantastic final race of the season this was. After an excellent performance at the Grand Prix, I'm sure there'll be plenty of celebrations tonight amongst the Mercedes team, and they certainly deserve it.
Well, Lando Norris wraps up his championship winning season in style with a victory. The perfect way to do it, and I'm sure he'll be very happy about that. And I can't say he doesn't deserve it, quite frankly. You know, I am disappointed, of course, not to win it myself, but he has pushed me every step of the way. He's looked incredibly strong all season, and he is a deserving champion. He's flanked by Max Verstappen and George Russell, both of whom I think have had a bit of a season to forget as they've adjusted to life at their new teams. But Lando Norris is the world champion, and there's nothing we can do about it.
We also crown a champion today, as their lead at the top is now an insurmountable one. What a great year it's been for Formula 1. Let's see what effect this result has had on the drivers' standings. After an incredible day of racing, who was your driver of the day, Ant?
It's got to be Lando Norris, hasn't it? Smooth, confident and assured. I've got no doubt that he and his team are going to be over the moon with his performance today.
It's time to see how things are shaping up in the Constructors' Championship. And with that result, McLaren can no longer be touched at the top of the table. They've had their ups and downs this season like all teams, but they've weathered the storm and come out on top. McLaren are world champions once again. Well, what an end to another fantastic weekend of racing. Thanks to everyone who's joined us, and we'll see you for the next one.
Well, the one silver lining I can take away from this race weekend is that we did manage to consolidate P3 in the Constructors' Championship, which means we will have the resources and the means to be able to fight for the World Championship next season as well, because we're going to be getting that. I got it wrong before when I said it was a $12 million bonus. It was actually a $14 million bonus, so even better news. And yeah, thank you to DSB Optics for sponsoring our car all season and allowing us to get P3 in the Constructors' Championship. I really am disappointed. You know, if we're being completely frank here, I have put a lot into making these videos over the past few weeks, and I really wanted to make this happen. You know, not only for myself, because obviously I enjoy the feeling of victory in video games and that kind of thing, but also, you know, I have, as always when I make these series of F1, whichever F1 game it's been, you know, I amass a number of new subscribers. We always get some new regulars across every season, and I really wanted to wrap this up for you guys to show you that I really am thankful for all of the support that you guys have given me over the course of the season. You know, I still hope that you can appreciate that I am, of course, very thankful for all of your support. You know, these videos consistently make it past 50, sometimes even 100 views, which is, you know, when you think about it, it's not a small amount of people. It really is quite a significant amount of people, and it makes me incredibly happy to see the progress that the channel's gone over the course of this season, especially as I've kind of returned to a bit more consistency after a few seasons where we've had you know, a few breaks here and there. This season we literally did just basically bash them out day after day after day, and you know, I'm pleased with the consistency of all that kind of thing and the dedication. I'm just disappointed that ultimately we didn't get the prize that we were going for, but there is definitely time for us to do more seasons, and hopefully we will be able to come back even stronger in season 5. I don't know what the calendar is going to look like yet. You'll have to wait until the recap video to find that one out, so make sure you tune into that one to see, well, first and foremost, whether I get my man Jack Doohan, who I am pretty confident I am going to sign for the following race, and also to see what the calendar is going to look like, and to see what the car livery is going to look like for the following season. If I'm being perfectly analytical, I definitely think I probably could have got a few better results here and there to allow myself to win this World Championship. There were definitely a couple of occasions where maybe I made some critical mistakes that ultimately messed this one up, but you know, that is the difference between being a champion and not being a champion, and next season we will come back stronger. So thank you very much for watching. That's the end of this video. If you enjoyed, please make sure you like and subscribe, and hopefully I will see you in the next one.